Hello everyone, my name is Derek De La Paz. We're here at Mill City Roasters. Today we're going to do a roast along of the Mocha Java blend, the Modern Mocha Java, but we're going to do it on the 6K. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do a full charge, so it's a full 6 kg charge that I've already weighed out. It's 33% of a Java wet hold, kind of like the traditional process and coffee for the Mocha Java blend. But then we kind of got a little more creative. That's really the only component that you could maybe draw back to the original Mocha Java blend. So then the other components are another Java, because a couple years ago I discovered the washed Javas that we would buy from Cafe Imports, and I loved them. You know what I mean? And so I wanted to really, I wanted to make sure I kept some of that in there too, because that's a clean, kind of citrusy, I don't want to say like very classic, clear flavor notes in that coffee. You know what I mean? It's a little bit like a P&G. You know what I mean? If you were trying to be like, well, what would a washed Java be like? I think the closest comparison is probably like a P&G, but it's a different bean. You know what I mean? Different variety. So it has a little different cup. It's a little bit more acidic than a P&G maybe, a little more dense, and a little more citric. So it's a nice kind of citrus cup. You know, clean, sweet, citrusy, and it's a denser bean. You know what I mean? And so I think that'll work with the third component. So then the third component was this coffee that you've heard me talk a lot about since winter, the Manos Juntas Natural Colombian. That coffee has a major amount of red fruit, wininess, a lot of berry. It's also a really big bean that has a big impact in cup. So I figured a small amount of that would go a long way in this blend. The roast profile isn't super complex. You know, it's one of my kind of standardized, like light medium profiles. You know what I mean? It kind of walks out that fine line between a light and a medium. You know what I mean? So I'm just going to share with you all the basic phase events, so the times and phases for this profile. So we're looking for 5:15 to green to yellow. Then we're looking for 8:30 first crack, or that would be plus 3:15 in mid. So pretty short mid phase. This Java's, you know, it's a smaller bean compared to the Colombian. You know, so we're not spending a ton of time in mid. And then we're just looking for really plus 210 in development. So like I said, a little bit long on the light roast development, but a little bit short maybe on the medium roast development. You know what I mean? So maybe your traditional medium might be 220, 230 for development. Your light would probably be maybe more like 150 to 210. You know what I mean? So 210, we're walking right on that fine line. And we might go a little longer because this is a first roast on this machine for me. So, you know, I'm gonna do it the best I can. I don't have a final roast color, or I should say temperature for this coffee because I haven't roasted on this machine yet. But if I look towards one of my other espresso blends that I do that's kind of in that same light medium range, it looks to me like 408, 410 is going to be somewhat the range I'm looking for a final temp. So I'm going to put that down, 408, 410 at the bottom. But other than that, it's really just working off the phases. You know what I mean? But I also have a note that at first crack, I have a certain ROR I want to be achieving. And if I'm achieving that ROR at crack, then I can pretty much, you know, count on the fact that we're going to have a consistent development phase from this machine, from the previous machine that I developed this roast on. So I'm trusting kind of in the numbers a lot on this one. Yeah, other than that, it's not a ton of data. I'm going to do a 30-second soak, you know, on this one. I'm going to hit it with pretty heavy gas. Like I'm going to use pretty high gas, like 2.4 kPa for quite a bit. Right around like maybe 30 seconds before green to yellow, I'm going to increase my air and lower my fuel. You know, not by a lot because that mid phase is pretty short. We're going to carry a fair bit of momentum into first crack. I do have a mid phase potential adjustment where I am going to do another lowering of the fuel. Now, if we're carrying the proper amount of momentum, I won't do that, and I'll just keep going right into crack with that momentum. If we're carrying too much momentum, at that point, I might make a more aggressive adjustment downward. So that's kind of like I have a question mark next to that. It's kind of like my open adjustment, depending on where we're at with the profile. I have a temperature number that I'm looking for first crack. So I should have that as a guide to see where we're at in that mid phase, because that's going to be really the crucial part of this roast is the mid phase, in my opinion. And then, like I said, if we hit first crack with the proper ROR in the proper time range, then the roast should kind of run itself at that point. Although I will potentially also, looking at ROR, rate of rise in development, potentially turn the burner off or lower the burner again at 1 minute into development, just so it doesn't move too fast or take off. The drum is roughly set to 50 hertz. 50 hertz is pretty much 62 RPMs on this machine. So right at that kind of sweet spot for RPMs that I'm looking for. I'm going to use low air to start. medium air right around green to yellow transition, and then I'm going to increase to high air at the first outlier, which is going to roughly be about 30 seconds before first crack. All right, so I have the burner off. All right, so we hit our charge temp, we're in, and we're going. They say just open and close the green hopper, and that's it. Now on this digital machine, it automatically started my timer, so if you didn't see me start my timer, I didn't need to on this one, but I did start my data logging. So I manually started data logging the same time I opened and closed my green hopper. All right, so for this roast, we're doing a 30-second soak. So at 30 seconds, I'm gonna hit my ignition switch and verify that everything's lit and burning, and we're good. And at that point, I'm gonna pretty much wait for a little bit just to see how things are going. All right, so 30 seconds, I hit it, and like you see, 2400 on our 2.4 kPa brought it up right away. Yep, I can hear that all the burners are lit. It's gonna verify that there's good mixing going on in the sight glass. And it looks like my next marker too in this profile is 445. So I have a bit till I need to do anything, but almost 3 minutes, I wanna say. So at 445, according to like this plan, we're looking at increasing our air and lowering our gas. And I'm at 2.4 kPa now. I'm thinking, this is like a pre-plan, that I'm gonna lower it to 2 at that point. But we'll see, you know? I'm definitely not seeing much movement in the drum right now, or as color change goes in sight glass. So, but we're still only at 2.5 minutes, which is about halfway to where we wanna be. Actually 2 minutes and 45, 2 minutes and like 8 seconds will probably be a little, 2 minutes and 7 seconds and 7.5 seconds. So I am noticing just a little paling of one coffee. And if I had to guess, it would be the wash Java. Because it's definitely a littler bean. And I imagine the wet hulled is probably a little bit more moist. And also from my past experience with wet hulled coffees, they always, from coming from Sumatra, they always had like higher moisture, you know what I mean? So it's just my brain also assuming that. Okay, now we're at 4 minutes, so we're getting close. We're only 45 seconds from our airflow adjustment and our fuel lowering. At this point, I don't think I'm gonna make any changes to the fuel adjustment. I mean, I could go higher in fuel right now, but it would not help, I think, my profile at this point. Like, I think it's a little bit too late to push the profile quicker. I will stick to my airflow adjustment at 445. You know, it's a little worrisome because if it's a little too early, it could run energy out of my system and run down my profile and kind of extend out my time to green to yellow. That's a little bit of a worry. We're about 15 seconds from there, but I'm saying about I'm not halfway. There's a lot of yellowing happening, so it's telling me that we are gaining momentum, and we're at 28 ROR, so we have a fair bit of momentum in there, so I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go, oh, there we go, to there. All right, actually 19. And I am gonna go with my lowering too. All right, to 2. All right, so now we have it's gonna give it a second here. And I'll call green to yellow up here. Oh yeah, we definitely have there's definitely some beans that are in the tan to orange zone. And we're just gonna verify that there's no more green. Nope, no more green. All right, a little slow there, 520. I was a little slow though on the reach, it's probably more like 518. So I'm gonna reconcile that on my book. So 518 green to yellow, I'm cool with that, very nice. We did our lowering of fuel. So we're at 2 kPa, but we're still moving at 24 ROR. That's about right. We're about 35 degrees from crack. 2 minutes, we're gonna be at crack. It's a little early. Okay. So I think I'm gonna do my 7 lowering. At 7, I'm gonna go down to 1.8. That seems a little late to me. 20, we're at 20 ROR. So now we're at 2 minutes from our goal for crack. 55, 85, we're about 30 degrees from crack, 20. It's a fine one. I'm gonna go down right now. I'm gonna listen to my roaster gut, and I went to 1.7 at 640. So I kind of moved my adjustment up, and I made it more aggressive. It was going to be 7 minutes, 1.8. Instead, I did 640, 1.7. Okay, let's cross our fingers and toes and hope that that's right. All right, now we're hitting 7 minutes. We're about 360. We might be a little late now to first. Yeah. I think we might be like more in the 9 minutes, which is going to be then to what? 9 would be 3:45 mid. All right, okay. I'm not going to throw this profile under the bus for that, but we'll wait and see. We still have a fair bit to go though. At 8 minutes, I am going to do my, well, we'll see. We have the right air ROR right now, so we have a nice ROR if we get into crack about right now, soon. So at 8 minutes was my goal to do my airflow increase to my high. But I'm going to wait for an outlier. So now we're just waiting for the first couple outliers to kick off, and that'll kind of signify that we're getting closer to crack. We're right, we just ticked up a little bit. That was an outlier too. So now we're hovering right at our goal, 1817 ROR. We're right around that, and I'm hearing outliers. Okay, so I'm doing airflow at 817. That was airflow at 817. And we're basically right at our ROR. So I'm lowering it to 1.6, 1 micro adjustment. And I'm putting it right around that 817 adjustment. And then I'm going to call crack. Oh yeah, that's it. 837, so I'm liking that. 837 first. So now we're looking for 837 first, right at our ROR number, perfect. So then we're going to track 937, 1037, and then 1047 will be our drop temp. All right. And it looks like our crack came in a couple degrees early. So that makes sense. The roast is running a little fast. We're keeping up our 18 ROR, or 17, 18 ROR right now. So that's why I have this kind of 1 minute in adjustment down. I think I'm going to do that. So I don't want too much. Okay, now we're losing a little ROR. Now as crack is starting to kick off a little bit, we're losing a little ROR. Kind of what I was banking on. You know, but the fuel is still kind of high. I'm going to make reference to this espresso I use just to see where the fuel is. Yep. So I usually lower the fuel right around now, and I don't want it to run up too much, so I'm going to do that. So at 9:30, I'm going down to 1 kPa. I'm going to record that. And then I'm also going to do my 937, which was 393, 392 because I missed it. So 12 degrees in that first minute of development. I like it. Pretty much right on track. Now we're down to 15 ROR, which is nice, which is kind of what we were looking for. We were looking at going in around 17, 18, and then kind of slowing it down. We're looking to end at probably around somewhere between 8 and 10 ROR. Down to 13 now, so we're losing ROR, which is right on track for us. We might even turn the fuel off if we feel like we have enough momentum to get to the end, because our final time is 10:47. Now we're hitting that 13 ROR. I'm going to go back down with another adjustment. We're going to go down to 5.5 kPa at 10:20. All right, I think that's going to be either our last adjustment or we'll turn it off and just let it ride. So now we're coming up to the 10:37, which is exactly 2 minutes, and we're looking at 4:06. And our goal was 4:06 to 4:08, or 4:08 to 4:10. So I turned it off, cooling arms on, 37, 47 is 4:10, I want to say. It's reading 4:11, but it was 4:10 when I hit it. It was kind of bumping around a little bit. All right, so that was that was excellent right there at the end for Dev. Our goal was 10:47, 4:08, 4:10, and we ended up dropping at 10:47, 4:10. And I think it was actually a little bit below, because we had 4:06 at 10:37, and then by the time I dropped it and looked, I don't think we moved 4 degrees, but whatever. I just cracked one little bean and it smelled nice. I could smell like this kind of, I don't know, it was like a floral kind of fruitiness. Oh yeah, that's quite lovely. Yeah, it's really nice. There's actually some tea rose. That's kind of what I'm getting the most of. It's like, I don't know if anyone's ever made a tea rose creme brulee, but like make a creme brulee that's flavored in tea rose. That's kind of what I'm getting here. It's like sweet vanilla custard, like red fruit, but in that tea rose kind of vein, almost fruity rose, not perfumey rose. You know what I mean? And then like nice, like sweet sugary notes, you know, maybe like a sugar cookie or like a ginger snap or something. Yeah, super nice. Super round, super soft. Not too much fruit, you know, so if you have a friend that's like completely anti-fruit coffee, this is kind of a fine line for them. Maybe go like 3 or 4 degrees darker than I did. Then your friend that doesn't like fruit will be totally down because it's all chocolate spice. So yeah, so that's also this. You want more fruit, Then we'll go 2 or 3 degrees lighter. Then you'll have a much more red fruit, fruity one. You know, Java has a lot of nice citrus. Now, if you want no fruit, go 3 to 5 degrees darker, and then the proper amount of time longer in development, and then you're gonna get rid of the fruit, and you're gonna have more of the chocolate and spice. And if you just want spice, then just go all the way to like a little darkish, like right into second, and it's probably just gonna be like a crazy like spice bomb with a lot of dark chocolate background. All right, well, I hope this is a learning experience. I hope you all got some information around how to best roast this Mocha Java. You want to buy the blend from us and roast it, or if you just want to get into blending, look into what we're doing on this page, look at our page, watch the video, and then get to blending on your own. Have a good weekend. Cheers from Mill City.